welcome to another special edition of TV on TV. I'm State Representative Tommy Vitolo. You're watching Brookline Interactive Group. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, and we have a great show for you today. As you know, we're in the middle of a 5-part series, having conversations with each of the candidates of Select Board, which is part of a 3-part series for all the candidates. And so, as you recall, we began by discussing Housing Authority with 3 candidates. Now we've got 5 candidates for Select Board. And when we're done with that, we've got 4 candidates for School Committee. And when we're done with that, we have an election on Tuesday, May 7th. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. For Select Board, of the 5 candidates, you can vote for up to 2. There will be 2 winners. Today's guest is candidate Susan Park. Susan, thanks for coming on the show.
Tommy, it's always great to be here. It's great to see you and everyone.
And I know as a candidate, there are so many campaign stops, and so I appreciate you taking the time to spend some time with us today. The first question I ask everybody is, what have you been doing your whole life? Tell us about Susan Park a little bit.
Thanks for the question, Tommy. And again, thank you for having me here. It's always a delight to share about what I'm doing. So, I am Korean American. My parents immigrated to the United States 54 years ago, and they worked very hard and built a lovely life for my 3 sisters and me. And I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and was very active in sports. I was one of those students who did 3 seasons. Excuse me. Field hockey in the fall, swam and cheered in the winter, and then in the spring was on the lacrosse team. So was an athlete, was part of the National Honor Society, all of the things that we want for our kids. But I ended up going to college at Ursinus College and became a teacher. So I started out teaching middle school. Then I was a high school teacher, became a department head, and then also taught college. So my profession before being a children's author, because the last time I was on the show with Tommy, he interviewed me about my 4 books that are available at the Brookline Smith. But before that, I was a teacher and educator. I was very passionate doing that. So now I am a second-term town meeting member in Precinct 17. I used to be a town meeting member in Precinct 2, but when they redrew the lines and re-precinct, I'm now in 17. And I'm also the vice president of the Town Meeting Member Association. This is my 2nd year. And we are actually preparing for our next meeting coming up in a few weeks. And we're going to be hearing about some warrant articles that's coming before town meeting. But that's just a little bit about me. I'm married to my best friend for 3 decades. I have 3 strong, wonderful daughters, 2 that graduated from college already. My youngest is at BHS. 1's recently engaged. So I have so many different experiences. I have a diversity of perspectives, a lot of insights. So I would love to just bring all of that to the Select Board. I would love to be there, ready to hear from our community, from, families just starting out to young professionals, students, and all the way up to our seniors. I'm really excited to serve our community as I've been doing. And of course, there's different committees that I've served, being a former PTO chair. And even before COVID, right before COVID, some like-minded parents and I, we were on IPAC, if you remember that was the innovation group of parents, and we created a district-wide Innovative Maker Day because we wanted Brookline students to be innovative. And so anyway, Thank you so much. I know that's a long-winded answer, but I do want to make sure that the public knows just all the different hats I've worn, all the different experiences, and I do think that all of this will make our select board stronger and better, because with a diversity of experiences and perspectives, that will welcome all the people who might want to come and share their experiences as well.
So you talked about a lot of different things you've done in this community through the schools, through town government, and certainly active in your family's active in town. So why select board? Why now? How did you come to decide that you wanted to spend this time running and then serve on the town's executive board?
Thank you for that question, Tommy. I love that question because yeah, I'm so passionate in serving our community, and I've done it in many different ways. It started off, I've co-sponsored different warrant articles, and one of the warrant articles is that we wanted to have a study committee, a marijuana study committee. We wanted to see the impact of marijuana in our youth. And so this passed overwhelmingly at town meeting. We got the study up and running. I'm one of the steering committee members, one of the board members. And in that study, the high school students took this study last year, and we found out that 1 in 3 12th graders are smoking marijuana regularly in the last 30 days. And so all of us on this board were pretty shocked at that number, because originally we thought it was like maybe 1 in 6, but it's actually 1 in 3. And so the fact that my work, my team and I, that we've been working hard on this, we got these numbers. So now we can actually do something with this data, and we can support our students, and we can create policy that helps our town improve. And so I was really excited about that. And then I led the team on Yes on 3, the ballot referendum. Last year, the question was, do we want to cap the marijuana stores to 4? And it passed overwhelmingly in all 17 precincts, 1 through 17. The majority said, yeah, we have enough. And so I was really, what that told me is I gave our community a choice and a voice. I gave people the ability to, give us their answer. And so with that, and then because I was serving as a town meeting member and then a town meeting member, association vice president, and then on these boards, I did go ahead and get my public leadership certificate from the Harvard Kennedy School. And I loved that. I've learned so many great policy pathways, and the way that I can put all that together. And I thought, well, coupled with the fact that people have been telling me to run for the last 5 years, and I just didn't think the time was right. But now, I am ready to go. I'm so excited. I have a lot of support. A lot of people are cheering me on, and they're all the way there to the finish line. And so I want to represent. I want to represent our community. There's never been an Asian person on the select board. We have 18% Asians. We have 31% immigrants in our town. There needs to be a woman on the select board. There's 51% of women in the town, and I am very qualified, very experienced, and I'm willing. And that's the thing, these roles, select board, this is we're volunteering our time. I have a lot of things that excite me, that give me passion, and I'm willing to put myself out there. I'm willing to serve our community. And I think that I have a lot of the qualities that would make a good select board member. And I'm very empathetic. I'm a good listener, but I'm also creative. And I take our challenges and try to find policy that will reflect our community, and that will give us solutions. And so that is why I'm running, Tommy. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, and so you talk about representation for the benefit of the viewers at home. There are 5 select board members, only 2 are up this year. The other 3 are white men. And so when we talk about diversity and representation on the select board, above and beyond white men, in fact, this is the year that voters have some opportunity. Of course, what people look like, and in fact, their experience isn't the only thing that matters to voters, but I'm sure it matters to some more than others, and in lots of different ways. I do want to get into some policy issues. I know you've been busy talking about policy in lots of different places, and I actually want to start with taxes. Taxes are this thing that Brookliners generally are okay paying up to a point. The Pierce debt exclusion passed 5149. It's kind of an indicator that folks are getting more concerned. What could you do on the select board to help Brookline continue to pay for all the things that we want to have in our public portfolio without hitting up residential taxpayers for more and more money to pay for it?
Thank you, Tommy. That's a very important question. And that's a question we really need to take seriously in Brookline. Because right, that number 51%, 5149, people are getting tired, and we see that. And I've been talking to a lot of people across the board, and a lot of seniors especially, they might not be able to age in place, and that concerns me. I really have a heart for seniors. In the Asian culture, we value our seniors, we respect our seniors, and the thought of seniors living in Brookline their whole life, paying taxes, serving in many different capacities, building relationships, creating routines that give them security and help them feel at home. And then if they can't afford to stay here and to leave, the worst time, moving is one of the most traumatic experiences that anyone can have. They say it's moving, a new job, and like a new marriage, because it's all new things. So we want to make sure that our seniors can age in place. And what can we do? So I have a vision to try really hard to offset these taxes by looking under every single stone to see where are we not creating revenue. And we still have parcels of property in Brookline where there's great potential. But I'll tell you, Tommy, that in order for us to maximize this revenue, it takes leadership. It takes someone who has a vision, not just like, yeah, I think this is one thing we could do, like we could build here or there. But I have a vision of taking Chestnut Hill West and making that a destination location and putting there something that would draw people from Brookline, but also from other communities, so that they will enjoy that place. They would spend their money, they would get refreshed, they would, and then we have tax revenue. And I know it's possible because I've done my homework. I've talked to people in planning. I shared my ideas with them. I told them that we could build something like a destination location where and I do have different ideas, but I won't get into that right now. And the feedback I got was, that is awesome. We need something like that. We need something there. We need something like that in Brookline. And I was really encouraged to keep on keeping on with that. So to answer the question, to pull it back, more revenue sources, creating spaces where Brookliners and beyond, they can come and spend their money, where it won't burden the schools. And but also like looking at fees. Like, let's look at the fees and let's see, are these have these fees been adjusted? I know recently the parking meters were adjusted, but we need to like kind of comprehensively look at all our revenue sources and see, how we're doing there. So those are just some ideas, Tommy.
So Chestnut Hill West, you're thinking Route 9 by the Newton border, and by encouraging commercial development there, generating additional tax revenue. Get it, got it. Whether the town can get there, we'll see. I want to talk a little bit about residential development, about housing. Obviously, housing has been a conversation in the community and the Commonwealth. We passed the MBTA Community Act in the legislature, and then the town responded by both complying with the MBTA Community Act and by upzoning Harvard Street to allow for more residential. That just happened. Are we done with housing? Have we got to where we need to go, or do you have further visions around residential use in Brookline?
Yeah, great question, Tommy. Right, with the MBTCA, and there's a comprehensive planning that's going to start. It's going to start soon. And so we really need to look at this comprehensive planning, because great things happen with great planning, and this is just beginning. So I really want to be part of that, and I really want to see what's going to happen. Let's look at the planning. Let's see where we can actually build more. And but I also think on top of the Harvard Street corridor, the other place I think would be a great place to build is the Washington and School Street corner. There's a lot of families who are coming from all directions, and those businesses they're single, it's a single story building, and there's just a lot of people and I think that would be a great place to put a building as well. But of course, that would require some study as well. But I don't think we're done yet. Let's wait and see what the comprehensive planning says. I totally support it. I support the planning. I support looking all over Brookline and seeing where we can put. But the key is it has to make sense as well. We can't. I don't think we should build in locations where the infrastructure is not ready for it. We gotta make sure that the schools can handle it. And I think now with Pierce, I mean, there's definitely room for a lot of students, right? They factor that in. But we also have to think about parking. We have to think about the pipes underground to make sure that the water and sewer, all of that can handle new growth. So there's a lot of factors, and so we need to plan well. Mm-hmm.
And part of that planning certainly involves planning for climate change, both trying to reduce the severity of it, but also to manage when we get severe weather events resulting from climate change. I know you recently had an event with Climate Action Brookline. I hope that went well, and I'm wondering sort of where you came down on what the select board ought to be doing, or what it would do under your leadership to face climate change.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Tommy. So if I get the honor of being on the select board, one, I would make sure that we hurry up and hire that sustainability director, that sustainability person. That job has not been filled yet. And that position is critical, because with a sustainability coordinator / director, that person will be, putting a lot of things into place that have not been put into place. I'll give you some examples. Wellesley, for example, if you go to their town website, they have a climate dashboard, And on that dashboard, it has the buildings that are being built using, you know, whatever the process is for them. It actually has buttons that you push and you can see the process. They have ideas for their own constituents of what each family could be doing. They have a list of things that people in Wellesley can actually be part of to become more green. And it's a pretty active website. So we need something like that because, you know, I went to our Brookline Gov website, and of course there is a Brookline, you know, to go electric. There is a link there, but we could do so much better. We could do more, and I think that sustainability director will help with that. So one, dashboard. Two, you know, Brookline has already put things in place. Like they have a plan. You know, they do have a plan, and I read it. It was like 200 and some pages, but you know, just because you have a plan doesn't mean it's going to be implemented. You know, it's like being parents. It's like you tell your kids these things have to be done, but if you don't have the presence of the parents, you know, and kind of encouraging their kids to do their chores, do their homework, you know, things fall apart. And so we need to help our community get on board. We really need to educate our community. And as a former department head of an English department, I managed, you know, it was elementary all the way up to 12th grade. I had to manage the department. Communication and getting people on board and creating consensus, that is a strength of mine. It's in my wheelhouse. It comes very naturally. And I'll be super happy to come alongside this sustainability director and, you know, to be that select board member on the ZAB to encourage Brookline to go electric. But the thing is about this, the challenging thing is we're all at different places. You know, never should we ever assume that we're all the same, that we can, you know, it's easy for those people, so it's going to be easy for everyone. Never the case. We have to be sensitive to where people are, you know, and so what we need is, you know, like to motivate those who are ready to make those changes. And for those people who are ready, here are the resources. Here's the list. Here's, you know, we can come alongside and help you. And actually, it's Somerville. They have a climate person who will help with the assessments, who can come alongside and just kind of champion the community to make these changes. And we need that. We need that in Brookline. We need to, so, you know, and then there's people who don't know anything about climate change, and we can't assume that everyone knows about going electric. So, and with these people, then there's a way to inform, there's a way to get people, you know, aware. And so that's where the sustainability person comes in also. But then we can also bring these climate education into the schools, you know, and that's really important too. And I believe that that's already begun, but we can do more, you know. So there's many ways to do this, through schools, through the town, and I'm really excited to do that. I'm just the thought of that excites me, because being a teacher, a lot of teachers, you know, when it's a calling, and you just have this desire and passion to educate and inform. And so I would be happy to do that.
Now, we've had conversations in the past, and I want to give you just a minute or two. We don't have a lot of time to talk about how mental health within the town is a place for our local government to be more involved.
Yes, Tommy. Right. We can't deny the fact that we are in a mental health crisis. It is clear. Over 100 mayors in the nation say that that is their number one problem, the mental health in their city. And so we have to address that. And as a select board member, I would be working closely with our public health department. I would be working closely with our ACPH, and so basically what I would do is, along with the select board, because there would be five of us, we would just make this a priority and make sure our public health department gets the funding they need to have these programs that will mitigate and ameliorate the mental health crisis that the mental health that we're seeing as in the result of the student surveys. And actually the public health department, they have a new survey that just came out. So I just want to tell our viewers not to confuse last year's surveys, because there were other surveys last year's, to a most very recent survey. And this is the social services survey, and it's on their public health website. And you have to click on a few links to get there. But I encourage everyone who's watching this, if you can please take that survey. I was just at their open house last week, and that is their greatest need. And here's the thing: if people don't take the survey, then there's no way for our town to know what the needs are. And for me, if I want policies that reflect the people, I want to be part of drafting policies that will help our community, that will help our people. But if people don't let the leaders in Brookline know what they are, they're not going to know. So this survey is super, super important. If you're watching, please take it. You just go to the town of Brookline, in the search bar, put public health department, and go to that. I believe it's the first link. So
folks will have a look. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. My website is susanforbrookline.com.
Susan, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us on the show today. I know it's a lot of work to run for office, and you're spending a lot of time talking with a lot of different people, and all of these sort of things stack up and pile up. So I'm so grateful that you took a half hour to be with us here on TV here on Brookline Interactive Group. Folks, as we said in the beginning of the show, there are 5 candidates for select board. 2 will win, and you can cast your votes on Tuesday, May 7th. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Of course, select board, school committee, housing authority, and in most precincts, town meeting are all competitive races. Make sure your voice is heard. Make sure you get out and vote. And before you do, make sure you do your research. Make sure you figure out which candidates speak to you, which messages resonate with you. And one way to do that is right here on Brookline Interactive Group. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in just a couple of days. We're on every Tuesday and every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. up through the election. Susan, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Tommy.